I want to address that portion of the audience that's like, well, that was not a great decision, but you made it. You know, you accepted this brand.
Right.
It went well beyond. That's not why he's in jail right now. It was a sex trafficking scheme. I mean, he was having young women who he was brainwashing into starving themselves nearly to death, entering this so-called sisterhood, which was really a sex cult meant to service him. You weren't one of those, Sarah, right? But many other women were basically being groomed. I mean, not basically, they were being groomed to be Keith Raniere's sex slave.
Yep. And that's the thing when people say you chose it, you could have left, whatever. It's really important to understand. In my mind, I've committed to this game, like in a fraternity or sorority, where someone's telling me what to do and I'm saying yes, because that's the commitment. A vow of obedience is what I've done. I think this is an exercise. And one of my exercises is to get this brand. So I do it. Other women had other things. And so the collateral, this is a key point. It's like a gun to the head. If you don't do the things, your collateral is going to be released. So that's not really a choice. In the cult space, they call it bounded choice, bounded choice, where like there's no actually no way out. You have to do the thing. Yes. So the other women had assignments like, you know, go seduce Keith. India talked about that in her story, that was her assignment, and other women had to do other things with Keith, and that was their assignment, and that's what they committed to, and they went along with it as well, because what are you going to do? You're going to lose everything. And also admit, hey, I just made a really bad decision, which is one of the components of it that keeps people kind of, you know, doubling down.
The India Oxenberg story, she's Catherine's daughter. They join this again. Catherine has such guilt over this because she thought she was bringing her daughter to a self-help program to help her learn business skills and did not foresee what was going to happen. Shortly into it, Catherine recognized, this is not for me. I don't know, I'm out. But India was getting something out of the lessons and stayed. And before Catherine knew it, India was completely untethered from her, was being intentionally separated from her loving mother. And Catherine knew she's gone. And now it's turned from it's turned into a rescue operation, and was doing everything within her power to try to get India back. But India at this point is brainwashed, and the mere threat of like, I'm going to take you out, you need to get out, Keith is a threat, would otherize Catherine even more. I mean, the person who's inside the cult is like, oh, hell no. And Catherine spoke to me in her first interview about this before India had been, pulled out, before Keith had been arrested. And India, I mean, Catherine's a very well-known Hollywood actor, and going to the media was truly her last resort. Here's a little bit of that interview from it was late 2017.
Any program that seduces people to abandon their lives to serve their agenda rather than empowering your pre-existing life, there's something off about that. So I watched her get sucked in. And the more I learned, because defectors came and told me about their experiences, the more concerned I became. And I realized that I did an intervention with her at the end of May, and I failed. This is my last resort, going to the media. My daughter is very, very angry with me right now. And she has every right to be angry with me, because I would hate my mom if my mom came out and publicly exposed her in this way, exposed me. But I love her to the end of the world, and I'm only doing this to bring awareness, because without awareness, there can be no outrage. And unless there's outrage, the authorities are not going to step in and do what they should do, which is shut this down.
Oh. What's your reaction to seeing that, Sarah?
I remember that interview. I was so grateful. I don't know if you remember, but your team had asked me to be there, and I wasn't emotionally strong enough to do live TV. I just didn't think I could handle it. But I was so grateful that Catherine had the strength to speak when we couldn't, and brings back a lot of memories of a time when, we were all just throwing our punches, and that media punch and, Catherine's role in the takedown was really important. We all had a very different role, me with showing the physical abuse and Mark, Vicente, and Bonnie and Catherine, like, and Nippy, like there wasn't many of us that were willing to talk.
People before us too.
Yeah, and people before us who tried in 2009. Like it just, like this was a fight that took so much of our life force. Our life force in it, thinking and resources, and then afterwards, and watching it, it just brings back a lot of memories of a very stressful time because we didn't know what was going to happen in the trial. We didn't know if Keith was going to be convicted or not. Even now to this day, he's still appealing to, a couple this week found out his third or fourth appeal was denied. He's still trying. Like it's an ongoing stressor. And that seeing that video is, it's a reminder of what we've been through. And can
I
also
tell you something?
So happy.
Let me tell you something petty about me. You just said that you didn't accept our invitation to come on because you were not ready for live, which makes absolutely perfect sense. I remember at the time, because I really wanted you. Your story was amazing, and we were really covering this case aggressively and honestly.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed, and I remember thinking, she doesn't want to come on because I was with Fox.
Oh, no.
No, we make up these stories in our heads, right? I mean, I'm just sitting here.
Well, I mean,
you know
that's
how
the
it
time
is.
we're in too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so glad that we've cleared up this dynamic.
No, it's stupid. I just tell it because I bet there's a million women out there and guys who tell themselves stories about, it's something about me. There's something wrong with me. Why I didn't get this thing, or why I didn't get invited to this thing, or this person didn't say yes to my invitation. We make up the worst stories about ourselves. Like there's something wrong with me. I'm branded too, right? I'm branded in a way. And then you talk to the person, you find out I'm a fucking idiot. Why do I do this to myself?
I love that you shared that. And I love that I got to tell you because it's been a long time coming. And I've been so grateful for your activism around it because it was that interview was such an extra punch in an already we just didn't know it was going to happen. And that really helped us. So,
because the authorities weren't doing anything.
No,
they weren't doing anything.
No. I mean, they did.
For the record, I show Sarah clips of Megyn Kelly off Twitter. I go, see, she gets it.
Oh yeah, you get it. We know you get it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So especially the culty shit everywhere right now.
Oh, I mean, it's terrifying. And the more vulnerable people are post-COVID and in our weird world where we don't know who to trust and the media's falling apart, even more so. Yeah. So finally, the police, the FBI, they do get involved. It took all of you, all the names you just mentioned, Catherine, all of you. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I should mention before I forget, India, thank God, finally saw the light, got out, and did her own documentary that she did on her own terms. And so I was very happy for her and for Catherine too. I mean, that story individually is just about a mother's incredible love for her child and what a mother will do. Mm-hmm. But she's in the vow too. All of you are there working, as you say, your own pieces of it. Everybody had a different sort of gift and a risk to take. And ultimately he does get brought down. He gets arrested in Mexico. And still the top echelon of the women are like running after the car as they take him away. They just were completely brainwashed that he was some sort of messiah. He was genuinely important to them.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And did you ever think that there actually would be a trial, or that he'd kill himself or flee again or somehow find a way to manipulate the system? Because he's a very good manipulator to get the charges dropped.
Well, narcissists don't kill themselves.
That's a good point.
Being in debt is like sinking in quicksand. You're trapped. You feel helpless, and the harder you struggle, the deeper in debt you can get. If you're trapped in debt, let me throw you a lifeline. Done with Debt. Done with Debt has created a new strategy with one goal in mind: to get you out of debt quickly and permanently. Done with Debt stands between you and your bill collectors, and then they negotiate a plan to end your debt permanently, without bankruptcy and without loans. They can get you out of debt quickly and put more cash in your pocket monthly. But you need to contact Done with Debt soon because some debt solutions expire. It's easy to get started. You go to donewithdebt.com and get a free consultation. What do you have to lose? Talk with one of their experts about a strategy that will end your debt faster and easier than you thought possible. Visit donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.